welcome back. Another morning, another day of Dota 2. Chinese qualifiers for ESL 1 Genting 2018. We've had our first round yesterday, and we are through to some wonderful matchups today. Joined by Drag and Drop, of course, again, as we get ourselves into a draft. It's already started on time. I do love this punctuality from our Chinese admins. Oh, yeah. Starting on the dot, if not 30 seconds early. Wonderful stuff as we get into IG versus EHOME, game 1 of this best of 3. And already, interesting heroes being picked up. Bounty Jakiro opener, Shadow Demon Sand King for EHOME. We saw EHOME had a pretty good day yesterday. Pretty good series.
They did, yeah. They didn't really break too much of a sweat. They broke out the Warlock here as last pick in the second game up against Rock Young. Worked out pretty well, and we've seen some great wombo combos for now. We only have the Sand King to facilitate these same kind of things, of course, or you have the Shadow Demon together with that pretty solid support combo, but Sand King also still gives you the flexibility to maybe put him on the offlane, just depending on the kind of matchups that you're looking at later. But Invictus Gaming, bringing out some heroes that we have not seen yesterday. Bounty Hunter, one of their go-tos, as well as the Jakiro. Not the most common first phase pick, but a hero that I like myself quite a bit.
Yeah, they fill a lot of slots, right? Got a bit of team fight, got a bit of chase, got definitely a bit of tower pushing there with Jakiro, but both these heroes give you one thing that's very, very strong, is that lane control. You know, Bounty's roaming around, he's invis, he's hunting people. Jakiro is spamming people out and making sure that they're kind of harassed out of that laning setup. So EHOME maybe struggle a little bit, but picking a hero like Dragon Knight will allow them at least one lane where they're not pressured too hard and put a little bit more of the onus on Bounty Hunter to make, TP rotations or sneakier moves to get around this DK being so tanky in the mid, and have to look towards the safe lane and the off lane potentially to get that harassing power in. On IG up next. The way they can go this draft, you can aim down towards 5-manning a lot, which is probably what they want to do. Bounty Track really does enable these 5-man pushes just through kills and gold you get. You're not wasting any time when you could be farming off side lanes, split pushing, killing jungle creeps, whereas Jakiro just pushes into towers. So some kind of 4+1 or 5-man group up and destroy buildings strat here from IG wouldn't be too unusual.
I wouldn't be too opposed to that, especially since you already see this Dragon Knight, who's more than likely going to be that mid position. We have seen safe lane DKs before in the past, even in the qualifiers for the other regions for Genting. But that's not really the assumption that you're making going into it, so you can already figure, alright, maybe we pick ourselves up a Viper here, go for an early point, another Toxin, and then that would even ensure some easy kill possibilities, even early on a Dragon Knight, just disabling that passive, but instead they go for some more straight-up push. Death Prophet, also one of these mid-dominating heroes, can hold her own up against the Dragon Knight with its Spirit Siphon, and it just feeds into this idea of the 5-man that you were mentioning, right?
Yeah, definitely. And one of the go-to heroes for a lot of these Chinese teams as well. Like you said, in the mid lane, level 1, level 2 against DK, you could potentially look for kills with the Bounty, DP, and maybe a rotation in from the Jakiro. Try and take down a DK, maybe once or twice early on, but he'll likely have Sand King or Shadow Demon behind him ready to strike as IG go for the Tide now. Just adding more into this 5-man group up, shove buildings. EHOME, it looks like, have tried to come back a little bit in this draft and address what IG are doing. With that Void, you'll have the Chrono to kind of stop that push for a bit, try and pick off someone inside the Chronosphere. You need some nuke damage to go in there for sure, so this final hero for EHOME does need to pack a punch. But you've got Shadow Demon and Sand King that do kind of amp up a little bit of this damage in the team fights for the rest of your squad. But I worry for EHOME getting out of this laning stage. DK and Faceless Void, both heroes that need items. They need items to function. If they get behind, they can fall further and further and further behind if they aren't given a good team fight or a good push. And IG banned the Huskar. Okay.
They don't want to be cheesed here at all. Now the Chaos Knight last pick. Alright. IG picking up that one. I believe you've seen Sun Gaming. Yeah, it was Blink picking it up yesterday and going on a tear with it. And they're looking to do the same thing here. That minus armor is going to be exceptionally helpful against the Dragon Knight, just trying to take him down a notch. But also, obviously, against heroes like Sand King, Shadow Demon, they might not even get a chance to get any of the defensive spells off if they get dragged back with the Rialto Rift and stunned up by the CK. And next thing you know, they're just down in the world of the dead, essentially.
Well, EHOME. Illusion clear.
Yeah.
Damage to go into Chrono. Burst to kill the DP. A Hex for the Tide. It's a real tough spot, it feels like, to pick a hero to go into this.
Seems like OD maybe might be the best shot here that they have.
That's the thing, though. Where do you put it? Like, if you put
That's the question, right?
DK safe... you can have safe lane OD, I guess, with DK mid. Then Void has to go into the off lane. But you can't be too greedy with a Void as one of your core heroes. If he's the off-lane hero, he does need some farm priority. And Gyro will be the one that they bring out here. So some magic damage, a little bit of nuke, some some spells to go into the Chrono. But I don't think I'm sold on this EHOME draft. It's really going to rest quite firmly on the shoulders of the Shadow Demon and Sand King early on to try and win 3 of these lanes, potentially.
Pretty much,
While IG have a much easier time, if they do go behind, coming back into things through Track, through Phantasm, through Ravage, pushing with the DP and the Jakiro is very simple as well. I think that IG have a pretty strong upper hand in this draft going into the game.
Yeah. Especially with the Gyrocopter. I mean, I like this hero, but he's also one of these that does need some items to like offset his disadvantages. He is very squishy early on. He's also in this very awkward spot where he, because he's very squishy, but he still has the rocket barrage, so you kind of have to want to go in close to the enemy, but at the same time you don't want to, because then you're gonna die. So it's a very awkward spot that you have to try and account for with things like treads, drums, and or Sanj Nyasha, these kind of build-ups. And I was just paused.
Panic there. What's happening? Yeah. Pause and unpause. There we go. Thank goodness. Yeah, we managed to get into the lobby this time. Yesterday we were going off Dota TV. Today we're in the lobby. Some lovely Perfect World accounts that I managed to hack and steal, removed from someone else's person. And of course, well, yeah, my hotkeys are wrong. I'm just going to come out straight away and say that my hotkeys are wrong. I'm pressing F7, but I wanted to press F5. So
my camera group just straight up doesn't work.
Great.
It's amazing.
Oh yeah. Where's Smooth Drag, mate? Where's... do you know where Smooth Drag is?
I believe it's under
Smooth Drag.
options.
I found it. There we go. Wonderful. Wonderful. So early on, starting items, Dragon Knight. We're seeing a lot more of this. The early Gauntlet, along with the Quelling Stout. Move into the Soul Ring as quickly as you can, just so you can spam out Breathe Fire. And we're seeing fewer and fewer mid laners buy Bottle early. Double Nulls, Magic Wand, Boots. Seeing a lot more stats and early little bits of regen. Lots of clarities and salves being spammed out as we get another phase of disconnect there, this time from the Radiant side. So players on teams. Drag and drop. Unfortunately, we don't have a ticket.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to go through this one by one, I think. Here, Gaze of Death, and ZYF, Yang, whatever you want to call him. He's had like 7 different names, but
pretty much.
He's now Gaze of Death down on the Chaos Knight. We'll have OP on the Death Prophet. XXS should be the Tide Hunter up at top, while Bobaka Bounty and Q on the Jakiro. While over on EHOME, what have we got? CTY Dragon Knight. We should have the old chicken Gyro. Then Faith Bian Vicky there, tagged up already himself on the Faceless Void, while the Sand King, that was HYM.
That was HYM,
and then Y is the one, I want something just like this. Yeah. Shadow Demon.
The way I remember this one is he has the longest name on this team, but his actual name is the shortest. So
yeah, easy way to remember it, I'm sure. Well, we'll get the boys reconnected back in. Laning setup, SD Gyro top lane. Sand King will be roaming around. I do want to watch early game, though, the Bounty Hunter, where he goes. Can he do much in the mid lane? Can he zone out the Dragon Knight much? Because that's a tanky fellow. Early on, not so much. 660 HP, 4 armor. He's decent, but nowhere near what he is when he's level 3, level 4, with a couple of points up in Dragon Blood and Breathe Fire, removing a lot of the damage as people run towards him.
I feel like the lane where he's going to find the most success is actually the bottom lane. Just because cooldown and time walk early on is very large, so if you force that out and then go in with that extra slow from the Bounty Hunter, Jakiro's also hanging around it, you also actually have kill potential with the Chaos Knight, providing that extra bit of control and perhaps even early minus armor from the Reality Rift, so you can actually bring down Faceless Void if Faith Beyond is not careful here. And because in mid, even at level 1, yeah, Dragon Knight is vulnerable, but Death Prophet doesn't really provide you with anything. Spirit Siphon level 1 is very underwhelming, to say the least. So unless he's completely out of position and is being body blocked and whatnot, I don't see that's as a viable possibility. And same for top. I mean, Tidehunter, you see the big old watermelon walking towards you. You're going to want to stay out of range of that if you're the Gyrocopter anyway, so it's very unlikely that he'll be able to provide a whole lot of extra damage unless he goes for this early point into the Gush, which we do sometimes see, but it does gimp your laning a little bit because you really want to have that survivability from the Kraken Shell as well as the Anchor Smash.
Not entirely sure what... Ah, there we go. Go. Yes, let's go. Thank you, Q. We'll get underway. I was going to say, not entirely sure what's happening. There's lots of people talking, but I don't understand what's being said. Not entirely useful. But yeah, it's... This game is going to be finding damage to kill the tanky people, basically.
Yeah.
Void, Gyro, DK, they all build tanky. They all have ways of either escaping or mitigating damage. Gyro, I guess not the same level as DK and Void, but definitely does build tanky with a lot of stats into S and Y, BKB. We'll see what happens there. While on the Radiant side, you've got Death Prophet with Spirit Siphon, with Yule Scepter. Can escape the damage. CK and Tidehunter also pretty difficult to bring down. Faith Beyond spots out 2 of the cores already. Scouts the Jakiro. Bounty Hunter will get in with a couple of slaps, but showing now, IG have 4 heroes down here. And this will mean EHOME move in to contest top rune. And they're also holding their ground here on the bottom secondary rune. They'll run away from the Chaos Knight as they breach the high ground, and it should be 2 for 2 across the map, which it will be. No messing around there by IG.
Also giving both bounty runes towards the Death Prophet, so obviously no experience, but 200 extra gold to start off with is pretty good.
Sand King and DK. The new DK set makes him look like Phantom Assassin. CTY, a big PA player, trying to roleplay. Yeah, while on the DK, OP starts things off with a Spirit Siphon. They miss out on the last hit, but should be fine here, getting a bit of harassing onto the Sand King, forcing out the early Burrow Strike as well. While down at bottom, a quick Reality Rift back into Faith Beyond forces him into the trees, while it looks like XXS will just drag the wave from his offlane back to a nice little spot closer to his tower. Faith Beyond should be okay here. Another Dual Breath is coming. Reality Rift still on cooldown. Just waiting out this Time Walk, CD.
Yeah, I mean, the more often you can put that on cooldown, the better it is for you, because it forces the Faceless Void to play that much more defensively without that available now. You see him walk out right next to the CK when it's off cooldown, but it's a pretty decent lane as far as lanes up against this Time Walk goes, because you have damage over time.
This is dangerous.
Just drag back and yeah.
Oh, Bounty. Have they got enough slow? Wow. With the Reality Rift, Faith Beyond is in a lot of trouble. One more punch from Bounty Hunter will be able to secure this with the Orb of Venom, and CK will be the one that slaps him down eventually, getting that first blood. Like we were looking at, mid lane not really somewhere the Bounty can sit, so he kind of has to go down towards bottom, up towards top to make these plays. Just want to point out, CTY dropping his Quelling Blade there to get the last hit under the tower. He hits it once without the Quelling, so the tower damage doesn't put it into kill threshold, and he gets the last hit eventually. A nice little play by him as we get ourselves to the 2nd minute. Bounty runes successfully controlled here by EHOME up at the top. And down at bottom, Faith Beyond actually gets one for himself, but this Arcane rune is snuck back by the Bounty Hunter.
Not all that's super useful here. I mean, he's gonna get 1 or 2 more Shadow Walks off of it, I guess. But he's just keeping the Faceless Void honest, sitting at level 2, very little to show for in terms of last hits, and it's going to be very important here down at bottom.
Oh, top lane Tide. All sorts of trouble. He had a bunch of stacks of this Shadow Poison on him. He was gone on by the Gyro Sand King, then decided to turn back around and run straight towards them. XXS overplays it, gets brought down.
Gotta be a bit careful there as a Tidehunter, or even heroes like Timbersaw, the heroes that you think of as being almost unkillable early on, but that's only true after you actually got your levels. For Tidehunter, the marks like level 4, where you have the 2 points up in Kraken Shell, 2 points up in Anchor Smash, to reduce that damage output from the other team. So it's not quite there yet. Cannot survive against 3 heroes, and I'm gonna try to make the same play again by the looks of it if he goes a little bit further forward.
With just the two of them, it's difficult. They do need the Shadow Demon set up, it feels like. A disruption with the damage from Shadow Poison as well. Trying to get level 3 up here. Why wants that second point up in the Poison, or maybe a value point in the Soul Catcher to add a ton of damage into this homing missile, burrow striking duo that's already setting up at top. Mid lane again, we're just watching DK and DP trade farm as expected. Not really a fun lane until the other heroes get involved. Sand King will arrive, force the Death Prophet to get away from the Dragon Knight a little bit, but things will get back to the old ways as bottom lane Faith Beyond yet again being chased down by the Bounty Hunter, but the CK not getting involved. A little bit too far away as Faith Beyond 5 seconds until Time Walk. He does have a Fairy Fire and a Salve, and it should be the Bounty just backing off as the Salve is eventually forced.
Surprising close. Mural up top. Okay, that was the Tide Hunter behind enemy lines. Got interrupted with this TP by the Rocket. Perch will make sure that he'll be able to walk a little bit further, but he's nowhere to go.
He has 6-1 charges, but I'm pretty sure he's still dead. Caustic Finale and another Burrow Strike. Come on, Sand King. Sand King, come on! Come on!
Does he actually do damage to Kraken Shell?
2 points in Kraken Shell, he's just not doing anything. I mean, the Caustic Pop will get him eventually, right? Right?
I'm not so
no
sure.
Way. XXS is winning this fight. He's got 1-1 charge left to go. The creeps. Look at that Shadow Demon. It's like, what's happening? How is this Tide Hunter still alive? What is he doing? He's just tanking the creeps. Sand King, does he have a Burrow Strike soon in 9 mana? Sand King is dying here. They're pinging the Tide. They don't know what's happening, and neither do we. Tide is with them. The creeps don't do anything. Anchor Smash will kill off another one. The Sand King finally Burrow Strikes him down, but what a ridiculous set of circumstances there for XXS deep in behind enemy lines. And now he's going to have a double wave coming towards his tower when he respawns and TPs back up top.
Well, I have not seen that before. I have not seen that before in the history of Dota. Meanwhile, it's gonna go again. This time DK actually super low with Bounty Hunter roaming in. Explosive damage, yeah, they have enough this time. Death Prophet, 3 points up in Spirit Siphon, 2 in the Crypt Storm. That is a lot of nuke damage now at this point.
Well, the Bounty hitting level 3 is the key point. 1-1-1 across him. And extra damage from the Shuriken proving to be vital. And Tide Hunter, what a hero. It just reminds me of that clip of, was it Fata? Was it Liquid against OG?
Oh yeah,
it was where
Fata Shadow Fiend, right?
What? No, Fata Tide Hunter.
Oh, Tide Hunter. Oh yeah. I remember one clip. It might have been Miracle actually. Just juking 20 different spells.
Oh yeah, that was the Dream League Miracle Shadow Fiend up here,
yeah.
but that was with an IO. No, I mean the Tide Hunter. He was like 1v4ing and they just could not kill him.
Yeah.
Soul Ring Phase Boots Tide Fata. What a player. Right. XXS showing that he can do a similar job as well. As the rotation in from IG, swinging towards mid, the sentry will spot out the Bounty and he'll know the range creep hits him. So he understands that the DK will realize his location, haste up for CTUI, keeps him safe. As they scan for the Bounty in the back as well. The Sand King's holding dust. I want to try and catch him, limit what this Bounty's been able to do in the first 6 minutes or so.
Also, really like this movement here from the supports on the side of EHOME because they're moving very aggressively here, zoning Titan away from all that experience that you were talking about. So instead, this turns into a very easy tower push with the siege creep being involved, the 2 or 3 range creeps that were mounting up for a while, and now this tier 1 is dead without him being able to get any of that experience. He's still sitting at level 3.5. It was the same level that he was when he was stuck in the top lane.
Oh man, this is reminiscent of the old CDEC gaming. Gyrocopter level 6 takes tier 1, rotates in, the DK nearly dead, the Exorcism going, and well, Death Prophet's not going to get the kill just yet. Another Spirit Siphon was available, but the Gyro's rotation gets them a kill with a disruption forward. Maybe they look for more here. Breathe Fire is ready in a sec, but they've got the Dragon Tail. Lock down the Jakiro, and Chaos Knight arrives in, but the Burrow Strike back. The Bounty's dead. Now the Phantasm has to go to work. They do get the trade-off with the Gyro falling, but IG losing out there 3-1.
It's the power of the Gyro card here, especially going for this Rocket Barrage build. Don't always see that. I mean, some Gyros opt to just max out the Flak Cannon for extra farm and or the homing missile for this easy harassment, but well, the Rocket Barrage build, if you want to go into it, it adds up to be a lot of damage, especially if you can isolate a target. That'll be enough to burst through that regen that you get from the Spirit Siphon, and absolutely crucial there. If DP survived just a little bit longer, the Exorcism would have done its job and killed the Gyrocopter before he could have claimed that kill himself.
Super, super close. Our tier 1 tower falling top, the TPs, this quick, snappy movement here from EHOME, but it's what, it's what Aggressive used to do a long time ago. With that gyrocopter, take an early tier 1, get level 6, rotate, find kills. Usually they would, swing down through this area and backstab the mid tier 1, but that TP to save the Dragon Knight spot on the money. So CTY now up at the top of the CS chart. Third in net worth, though, with Chaos Knight a little bit ahead of the gyrocopter, who's in second place. Still this Death Prophet. First Exorcism doesn't get you a kill or a tower. A little bit unfortunate as the Sand King misses his Burrow Strike top, but you're right. Look at this Rocket Barrage build. Huge onto this Tide. Wait, hang on a sec. He purged off the dust with Kraken Shell. Are you kidding?
Well, it's quite the ability, isn't it?
Bottle Tide.
Yeah. Super lucky having the Dinmus rune available as well. Otherwise, he would be dead for sure.
Calculated. I mean, he wouldn't be that far forward without the Invis, right?
Yeah. As a result, he can still actually hang around, gain a little bit of extra experience, heading closer towards the level 6, and that's the point where Taita really becomes dangerous. If you look at the other side, though, Faith Beyond is almost level 7, so the threat of the Chronosphere is already there. And Gyrocopter, yeah, they're smoked up behind them. To try and make something happen here.
This is
CK.
And this is where the Radiant feels super strong. They got the armor on CK, the drums on DP, but she's not going to go for the TP. CK has to turn and get the stun in, but he's already dead. Disruption to catch a second one as they'll find the Jakiro. More likely than not, the damage will be enough from EHOME as this early game, the Sand King has just set up so much, but Old Chicken's Gyro rotating around, gone from safe lane to mid lane to bot lane. He doesn't have a home. This nomadic gyrocopter is just opening the entire map up for EHOME to have a victorious start to this match.
Doing exactly what they need to do to hit this early timing. Gyrocopter roaming around, just really leveraging this early kill power that he has with all of this magic damage. And then, I mean, Faceless Void, just at level 6, just having the Chronosphere available, you either rotate the Faceless Void out, or you rotate other heroes into that lane to get a kill with that.
Now they spot the bounty. Oh, he's speedy, but the poison chases forward, and a killing spree for Y. 3-0-2. Good stuff.
It's starting to get out of hand. Especially if they can keep slowing down this Chaos Knight. I mean, he's already forced to go back into the jungle. He already has the armlet, so he's not going to be too far behind here, considering.
We were looking at the 5-man push from the Radiant. Their timing is still there. Still looking at a decent push power with Exorcism, Ravage. They'll move up towards top. But you also have to think about, the pushing prowess of this Dire team. With the Dragon Knight, his big ulti, very good at bringing down these tier 1s and tier 2s, but also the team fight capabilities of everyone else. Yeah. Forcing people away from defensive positions. And they're also stacking up a lot of this jungle here for the Gyro to farm, to fall back onto. So tier 1 top falls, and now they come down to try and utilize this Ravage, knowing that EHOME will shove in with this Dragon Form ulti. They think it's a simple tower take, but in comes the Tide. Ravage is out, catches on to 2. The Gyro gets the cooldown off, but Dragon Knight, he's already dead. Sand King rifted back into death with a Burrow Strike. Will get him a little bit of distance here away, but the Spirit Siphon now dodges the stun. Oh, he's away. HYM getting his escape, but no. The Ice Path after Reality Rift catch him as he waddles back. And they defend their tower, getting a couple of kills in the process. EHOME, a little too aggressive there.
Great value point in the silence there from the Death Prophet. It did catch a Sand King as he was coming in for Burrow Strike to try and buy some extra space for the Dragon Knight, perhaps even turn around, get a few spells off, but it wasn't to be. He was forced to just waddle on out of there and then got caught by the entire Wrathy as the DK was already dispatched.
We are going to need to get this bounty up to level 6, though. That's the next key for IG. Oh, is he going to see this? He'll spot the Shadow Demon here, I think. Immediately knows there's an Observer Ward. Yep.
Good catch.
Very, very tight window there. Like, if SD was 1 second ahead of that timeline, it would have been fine. But Bounty Hunter hot on his tail.
Gyrocopter is also still farming. He's keeping up the CK here. That last fight, though, certainly the reason why he's back up at the top of the net worth chart, going straight towards that Echo Saber. So full-on mid-game damage build, rather than going for something like a Midas into these bigger tier items earlier. So they want to fight. They want to fight every single time that Ravage is off cooldown, essentially. It's together with that exorcism to take down towers. They've only claimed the tier 1 tops so far. But the thing is, on the flip side, you also have the Chronosphere ready to go again. Gyrocopter, once he's done farming, once he's recharged a little bit on mana, he can join in, provide that extra bit of damage.
Tied now with a hood on top of his bottle. Tanky man. Tier 1 mid should be a good little objective to push towards here as the Ravage is coming off cooldown in 20 seconds. Oh, Bounty sneaks the courier. I was watching him sneak experience from Ancient, sneak a ward, sneak around, and then he sneaks the courier. He's just doing everything sneakily.
Really role-playing the character to its finest, right? But
yeah.
Don't want to just let that go unpunished. Just smoke up, trying to keep an eye on the Death Prophet here. They just need to find a way in, which is the problem. That is Time Walk into Chronosphere, catches one. Tidon actually walking into it. The cooldown comes through with Rocket Barrage, follow-up Burst Strike. They will get rid of the Death Prophet, and even catching the Titan here. Follow-up stun immediately push off, but the damage is still there, especially with Old Chicken continuing to chase forward. Another Time Walk across to block the path. That's a second hero down and chasing for more. CK coming in to try and help, but he gets caught with a Burst Strike here from the low ground. Needs to juke and jive, another Time Walk just to keep an eye on him, eating through the trees. He's pretty fast, but is he fast enough? No more mana here on the Old Chicken, even if he wanted to. Could not throw out a rocket, but he needs out of there. Burst Strikes is still fighting here, even though it's 2 against 5. Bounty Hunter with the tracks, almost getting the show toss kill on the Sand King, but it was not to be. Just running them down one by one. Death Prophet, yeah.
In.
That was the first hero who's fallen, already respawned. Same for the Titan, but can't even get anybody. Ice Buff will connect on the Faceless Void. Follow-up slow is there from Jakiro. Faith Beyond. Oh, silence up here, preventing the Time Walk. So at the very least, they get this one counter kill. Still feels like a huge win there for EHOME.
Oh, for sure. Chaos Knight thought he could turn and burn, but even with that armlet, wasn't able to bring down the Gyrocopter with a swift Burrow Strike from the Sand King, keeping the Gyro alive and kicking. It just feels like whoever 5-man's first gets the victory, honestly. It was a very, very quick move there by Faith Beyond, catching the single solo Chrono onto the DP, immediately getting rid of her. Unfortunate for the Tide to walk into it, but I don't think he would have been able to save her, even with the Ravage. That cooldown and all the magic damage placed on her head made it an inevitability that she was going to die. But at least they get something to return. A tower falls, they got the Void kill. Now they need to start looking for more, especially with this track from Bounty. If they can get a couple of good team fights, IG could find themselves swinging back into this game very strongly. They've already got the top 2 farmers in the game. A slight net worth lead overall for IG over EHOME. But they've got their ultimates ready. They've got Ravage. They've got their big old Macropyre. But they probably need to wait for Phantasm and Exorcism again before they can go for anything bigger.
Especially the Exorcism. I mean, all the Phantom at this point, even so if we're still talking tier 1s, you can just use that to muscle down the tier 1 towers, but for tier 2s, you really want to rely on the Exorcism to have that extra damage. It is level 2 now, so you have these extra spirits making it extra potent. Level 1, even though it's been buffed a couple of times this year, like a lot of almost a year back or something, it's still kind of underwhelming compared to the later levels.
DK does take down a big stack. Gyro tried to help out, but it looked like CTY said, no, mine, go away. Old Chicken walks back to the creep wave, giving a lot of farm to this Dragon Knight to move into the BKB. It looks like Sanjanyasha is here for Gyro, so primary items for these team fights, they're tanking up. The stats-based items on these 2 ranged heroes going to be very strong. IG not responding to this tier 1 push just yet. Again, they need to wait for Exorcism, they need to wait for Phantasm, but they've got the Yules onto Faith Beyond, cancelling the TP. He's going to have a time walk to the northeast, but he's trapped in the trees until the Quelling Blade cuts him free. And it looks like IG will just back away from that Faceless Void. With Chrono available, he could have set up for a potential go there from the rest of his team.
They were busy in mid though, just taking down this tier 1 tower, Old Chicken getting the kill. But yeah, I mean, we're starting to see some of these core items coming out. I mean, the Yule Scepter on DP, Blink Dagger almost on the Tide Hunter. It's already been picked up by the Sand King. I don't believe HOM has showed it yet. Let's see, they clicked on him when he was walking past his ward here, that they have.
A smoke from IG. They need mana boots. Bounty Hunter, it's off cooldown in a couple of seconds, so Tide and Jakiro will be replenished a nice amount there. But here we go, the 5-man, this time from IG, looking to strike first. They've got the Chaos Knight popping. There's the jump forward with the Ravage onto 1. They found Faith Bian, but he jumped into the trees. The disruption is there. Now Shadow Demon, he's turning this fight around. Exorcism is forced. Faith Bian is dying. He moves forward with a 2-man chrono, though. And in comes the Sand King. Death Prophet in trouble. Half HP, but not dead just yet. And it's looking like IG might just have the upper hand in this with the Gyro dead. EHOME, no response. Now having to back away, Tide chasing onto the Dragon Knight, who's stuck in the trees, and the Reality Rift forward will open it all up again. The Can of Worms leeching everywhere as Invictus Gaming get 2 big core kills. The 5-man begins immediately for them as they push into Tier 2.
This is where we see the weakness here of the EHOME lineup. I mean, there was a great Chronosphere by almost all accounts. Like, he caught 3 heroes, like in almost any book that's super good. But who he didn't catch was the CK. He was on the outside with that extra illusion, so he had himself plus 3 illusions, whacking away the Gyrocopter. Even with the Sound Yasha, he cannot withstand that for long. So with him taken down immediately, there's no follow-up damage into the Chronosphere. They do find the Bounty Hunter.
I have Carlo, and you don't.
What?
How does this happen?
I don't know.
Dota 2. I mean, I'm looking at drag and drop screen and his is fine.
Yeah.
For some reason, mine is lagging. So we'll do the.
It's a bit annoying.
We'll do the quick.
I can keep you up to date if there's
Disconnecting
anything
meeting
crazy happening for now. All of them are just farming up. But yeah, I mean, that's the power of the CK, right? We were talking about it earlier. Seeing 9.2k net worth now with the Echo Saber, just so freaking powerful. Going into the BKB next, and that's the point where you gotta wonder, hey, what do we do here up against this hero? Like, you gotta catch him in the Chronosphere, but then you also need a shit ton of physical damage at some point, right? And DK go itemizing into that BKB, Gyrocopter as well. You're not gonna have that anytime soon.
Oh man, OP. He's got Yule's, pops it to get rid of the Demonic Purge. Still poison stacking up, but a great silence there. Halts that smoke in its tracks. And IG, they're down 5 kills, but they're up 2k net worth. And yeah, these BKBs from the Dire team, incredibly important to try and get that peak of power back into their hands again. Spot out the Dragon Knight farming away. The scan in onto Roshan though, 10 seconds until Exorcism is back. And EHOME, really, it's on them to try and get across to this pit as quickly as they can.
There we go. Second time this game. It's being super annoying. They know that this Roshan is going on, but I guess they're deciding it's not really worth it. They're not really in a position to really contest it. Not with Ravage and everything else up and running.
DK just got his BKB. A little unfortunate. Would have loved that maybe 20 seconds earlier. As I get the lag again. Why me?
I don't know.
Happening?
It's very unfortunate. They chose the wrong Perfect World account.
Apparently so.
Well,
I can hear sounds. I can hear people casting dual breath and stuff. Oh, there's a rocket barrage.
Just in creeps.
Ah.
All of them are just farming right now. Bounty Hunter still doing Bounty Hunter thing, just roaming around in the back.
Bounty Hunter's here, by the way. oh, there we go.
go.
Oh, we're back. Sick.
Sort of.
Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, perfect world. I love you. Well, CKBKB is there. Right. Is it fine now? Okay, we look okay. We look reasonably good now. If it stops again, I'll reconnect again. But we are missing projectiles. Okay, we're missing spells. Okay, I'm going to do a quick again.
Yeah, nothing's really happening. There's a bit of a push going up top. Only the Jakiro showing, but no response for EHOME. Bounty Hunter just guarding in the back, keeping an eye on things, but they're just perfectly happy to farm out the other side of the map, keeping the pressure here on the bottom tier 2. HYM on the Sand King, getting rid of the creep wave. They're looking towards the next set of items here by the looks of it. And yeah, it is these BKBs. Both teams really waiting for that. CK has his now, going into the heart next, just starting out on that. Gyrocopter is still about 500 gold away. DK also has that item available now. What's the Phase Void doing? Shadowblade next. Alright, so he keeps wanting to find these Chronospheres.
Yeah. Again, a team with Void from the offlane, so heavily reliant on the Chronos to land. They need to get that lockdown in that AoE. for Gyro and DK to do their jobs. Oh dear. Why is this happening? If only I could grab your screen, honestly. Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think we're set
unfortunately
up for that, unfortunately. Well, Ice Path coming in mid. Looks like, okay, that's a burst strike onto the Bounty Hunter to see him in the back, but running out of vision, out of sentry range, so he will survive. Another one is being dropped down. Meanwhile, called down in the back. Phantasm is being used to dodge one of these rockets and gonna go straight onto the Shadow Demon. He is down for the count. Epicenter after the blink, trying to turn this, but there's not enough damage here, especially with the BKB going on a Chaos Knight. Exorcism committed the same as the Macropire as the fight is already in. Ice Path actually catching the DK into the Yules. Plenty of time for the rest of IG to catch up. Now Faith Beyond actually takes a stun here. BKB from Dragonite keeping himself safe through the Ravage, so he'll make it back up to the high ground. The rest of the team though not so lucky. Another Ice Path catching the Gyrocopter with that Exorcism going.
And they still have Aegis on the Chaos Knight, so they move forward to high ground. Exorcism, like you say, is still going for a decent chunk of time here. Tier 3 with no glyph. Looks like it's falling. I don't know if the glyph was popped. Yeah, okay. I didn't get that notification. It was popped.
It's a Chronosphere, yeah. You don't see it, but there's actually a Chronosphere. It's gonna bring down a DP after the Exorcism has ended. Looks like it might also catch a Chaos Knight here, unless it can arm target his way through, but even then, still just the Aegis. It might not even be able to claim it. TP out on Tidehunter, yeah, that'll be interrupted by the Q. They finally also get the Aegis. They want more. The Bounty Hunter in the middle of that gets bashed up. Throwing out some cracks. That's CK. Well, they're actually gonna get this kill, aren't they? Faces Void, yeah, no more time walk, so that's another track kill. So, give away the triple towards the DK. But, and you also actually don't even get the tower. So, that was still a successful turnaround defense there for EHOME, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was okay. It was okay. I don't know if they'll be too happy about that, you know, using BKB defensively, trying to run away. Killing off the Tide and the DP is pretty decent. As the Sand King dies. What? Where? Sorry? Oh, now I'm getting the notifications now. So.
Oh yeah, no, that was earlier. He's actually still live here on my screen.
Oh, just like the tentacles appear, all of the particles and animations appear at the same time. So yeah, that just happened. It's still reasonably good. Like tier 3 down to half HP. Next push is going to be good. The one thing that they'll be sad about is losing that Aegis on the Chaos Knight, which they would love to have now, but with BKB coming for the Death Prophet, she'll be much stronger to move into the next battle, while they do have the Gyro's BKB ready now, so EHOME still looking strong, but it still comes down to who gets the jump first, who gets that, you know, great Chrono, great Burrow Strike, or on the other side, great Ravage, or great Reality Rift onto a key target. Who can 5-man first? The smoke coming in from EHOME, they want to start things off. Chaos Knight is open on the mid lane.
Very juicy target indeed. They're gonna go in with a Burrow Strike. There's still disruption in the back here to keep the Jakiro from helping out, but did get the BKB off. They need to finish it off with right clicks, but they will have plenty of that between the 5 of them. And maybe you're not the only one who's experiencing some lags.
Maybe it's not just me. There we go. Chaos Knight dies.
This is so weird.
Oh, dearie me. Perfect world. Right, while we're paused, now would be a good time to press the red button and the green button.
Well, let's hope for the best.
The Chinese government doesn't like me. I said bad things about communism.
It's so interesting that it's just you and not me, even though we're on literally the same, like literally next to each other, right?
Yeah, like I'll never understand it. I will never, because, for instance, you know, I've had this a number of times in my apartment or at home. I'll be playing with, you know, my roommate or my brother or wherever I am, basically, in a LAN cafe. If you have LAN cafes where you are, I'll be sat there, and Dota 2 will say connecting or, you know, reconnecting to the game coordinator. Game coordinator's down. The person next to me is, you know, perfectly fine in the main menu searching for a game. Yeah. On the same router, you know, same local area network, but different situations. As Tide solo chronoed, a difficult kill, but expenditure was there from EHOME to secure it as they get the CK and the Tide. Yep. But I don't know, they can get the tier 2 here. Pushing tier 3 is a possibility as well.
Maybe, yeah, that DK is still a little bit less than half time left, so I don't know that they're gonna actually kill it. But with 35 seconds on the sidelines on the Tidehunter, this big team fighter for IG, this might actually be in the cards, especially when they realize Especially when they realize that there's no buyback coming out on any of these heroes. So yeah, with Catapult going, with a DK form, with the pure right-click power, they will get the tier 3. Now they're also sticking around, but there's Silence coming through, Death Prophet, BKB in with the Exorcism going. TP out under the cover of that BKB from Old Chicken, and everyone else is far enough away. So not only did they get the tier 3 first, but they only get out scot-free, only using the one BKB charge. As I say that though, Dragon Knight still being tracked up quite literally and also
BKB
figuratively. And might have to use it right now. There's nothing against it. Unfortunate.
2 BKB TPs out, DK and Gyro survive, but yeah, tier 3 falls. Exorcism and BK forced out by the Death Prophet as well, so that's a big loss now from IG. Pushing forward, they were meant to be the ones to get this tier 3 mid, but losing 2 big heroes and then not having all of your ultis that you require to go and take objectives yourself means that they might be stuck in an awkward position now where, you know, smoking under this observer ward, rushed decisions, definitely feeling the pressure from EHOME. 28 minutes in. That's the Dire in a very good spot. Next, Roshan. My screen says he's up. Can you tell? He's definitely not, because I can't see him.
40 seconds until possible respawn.
Fast spawn in 40 seconds. Very good.
Gem of True Sight available now for somebody. It's Shadow Demon holding on to one. And, yeah. It's a bit of a back and forth game, isn't it? I mean, if you look at the graph, I'm not sure if that actually works for you. But it's, yeah, okay. It's a bit of a zigzag, regardless. Right?
Yours looks...
Oh,
you have XP. What are you doing?
It's the same thing. It's a bit of a zigzag either way, so...
Well, I mean, I was looking at how mine was different to yours, and you had XP and I had net worth open.
Just doing it to mess with you, yeah. It's all good.
I'm sure.
But yeah, the lead was never really all that big. It was close to 6k mark for IG, but it's all but evaporated here after the last push forward from EHOME, so it's... I mean, game's still very much open, right? One single team fight, one good Ravage into, with the Exorcism going, it's still a lot of damage that EHOME cannot necessarily withstand. So it's really coming down to who gets a job and who. Right now, EHOME though, they're the ones leading the charge. Shadowblade, very useful in these kind of circumstances. Then once again fight the Tide Tower. Very important hero, worth Chronosphere. They're gonna be able to burst him down very quickly. This time he does have buyback though. So they want more, they need more Phantasm used. There it is, Faith Beyond, tracked up, Ice Path, Magpie, everything being dropped both of them away, but not gonna be enough to keep the Faceless Void safe. But look at this burst damage here towards the Death Prophet. Exorcism going, but dies instantly. That's not exactly what you want. Now target fire continuing forward, and I think Force up to the high ground. Bounty Hunter will survive. Jakiro, and as I say that, there's a rocket actually flying. I'll catch up eventually, but well, they popped that buyback. They wanted to fight with a Ravage, but where did all the damage come from?
DK assault your ass. Right click, DP down to like half HP with 2 or 3 punches. And Death Prophet, even with the Veil, you know, looking at a plate mail next, definitely needs that bonus armor. Dragon Knight super farmed at this point. Top of the net worth after that tier 3 push and the fights that he's been involved in. Allowing this Gyrocopter to deal all that magic damage as he transitions into physical. And EHOME in an absolutely amazing spot now. Forcing ultis out from IG while they waste very little. You know, it's very efficient from EHOME. No redundancy at all. Every move they make finds a kill, an objective. As they open up the map for themselves to push tier 2 in one of the side lanes, and IG left scrambling with a buyback. And now trying to defend this middle lane. EHOME spread out across the map. Do need to worry a little bit about leaving your Gyrocopter so open, but Old Chicken will come back and they'll ping Roshan, because that is the objective that they desire now.
Maybe not immediately though. Chaos Knight being gone on. Now the Ravage being forced out. Catches everybody though, and Senking is dead immediately. Faith Beyond on the retreat. BKB forced out on the Chaos Knight. It's down to 6 seconds now.
And Gyro's here. Oh, it's a little bit rough, and now you're looking at Dragon Knight with everything ready. Ulti, BKB, Gyro, the same story. They're still ready to fight. They've got Chrono. Faith Beyond's coming in from the back. Oh, they could catch a couple here as he jumps forward. DP is found. This is a big kill. Bounty can't save. Tide can't save. And it looks like DP is absolutely screwed. Pops her BKB, but the right clicks, where are they? Where's the Dragon Knight? He's focusing someone else on the back end, and in comes the CK. Takes down Faith Beyond, and the turnaround is happening. The Dragon Knight's focusing the Bounty Hunter now is in an awful position. IG swing back in, very powerful, but it's the BKB from Dragon Knight finally arriving as CTY takes down the Chaos Knight, looks for the Tide, and he brings his team back into this fight.
Buyback comes through, Yules into the Ice Path here, working together on Jakiro, but it's gonna be down to the Chaos Knight to do his job and get some kills, and he certainly looked to do that together with the exorcism still going about. Still half time left on it.
CTY's team is going to be super pissed off at him.
Absolutely.
They were grouped up there. DK had everything. They're focusing down the the DP, the Chaos, the DP and the CK. As I lose my words completely, they have the solo chrono on her as well, and then the Dragon Knight runs around chasing a bounty hunter. That's not where you need to be.
It's actually a case of mistakes made, right? I mean, if you kill that Death Prophet, you snowball. It's not to snowball into the fight as it stands. You just wasted so much utility. You don't get the kill. DP's heating back up again with the Spirit Siphon and everything. And sure, DK finally comes in and gets a few kills here and there. I believe he got what? Did he get CK or something? There was some buybacks involved for sure. Yeah, I believe he got CK, forced out the buyback, but they still lost much more than they should have, especially with Roshan dropping afterwards towards IG.
And now you're looking at Spirit Vessel on Bounty Hunter. Great item up against the Dragon Knight as Sand King. Eon Disc. We do not see this item at all in competitive Dota. We see Lotus Orbs, Yule Scepters, Shivers, everything on Sand King, but never Eon Disc. Very interesting. I mean, this game, pretty good up against the Chaos Knight. Actually, very good against the Chaos Knight, seeing as he wants to stun, jump, and remove you from the game with his illusions. So we'll be able to survive through that burst damage. Also pretty good up against the Tide Hunter. That Ravage into the DP damage can be stopped by the Eon Disc, allowing, an extra Burrow Strike, some kind of escape mechanism through the Force Staff or the Sandstorm. Just buys time for HYM on the Sand King to stay alive a little bit longer.
If you really think about it, I mean, late game Sand King is all about the volume of these Burrow Strikes, volume and quality, right? I mean, the more of them you get off in a single team fight, the better. Because it's not ending up, it's like 2.17 seconds each time. You can hit multiple heroes. It's really what you want that hero to do, and Eon does make sure that you can actually get that without being bursted down. DD rune for Roche Pit now.
And a Butterfly on Gyro as well. Decides to take it, not giving it to the Dragon Knight. They're annoyed at CTY. Old Chicken's like, nah mate, no. You messed up last fight, that's mine, my DD. Nice blink away by CTY, gets him closer to the Gyro and back to safety. As Faith Beyond is still hunting for this chrono, but IG smoked very offensively. EHOME, you are not a Radiant team, you are Dire. IG, you are not Dire, you are Radiant. You're on the wrong side of the map. What's happening?
I was hoping for Faith Beyond to just go for the solo chrono, then accidentally catching everybody as he's going in on the CK. Didn't opt to go for that. They knew that something's amiss. You don't see anyone on the map, obviously you figure, hey.
Dragon Knight is a Dungeons & Dragons monk right now. No sword, no shield, just punching people. Naked man.
Oh god. Looks hilarious.
Oh, dearie me.
It's like he's holding a croissant or something as well. It's a lunch,
this is my pastry.
Yeah.
What an ugly guy. CTY, what have you done to this Dragon Knight?
Oh,
dearie me.
Well, that was the second smoke there for IG. Again, being completely dodged out by EHOME. Still feels like they have the momentum here despite that botched team fight. I mean, the only reason that they lost it was because they didn't target fire properly.
1 minute 30 until the Aegis is reclaimed. If my timer's correct, anyway. Yep. Just want to make sure. Feels like IG want to go and do something with it. The double smoke, they're running forward aggressively. They're pinging on the Gyro here. Observerboard must have seen him move up onto the high ground at some point as IG moving forward, looking for the Sand King. They'll catch on to him as well. There's the Eon Disc, allowing the escape from HYM. And IG, without a single creep wave near the enemy base, will have to back up.
And Bounty Hunter disconnects. So again, it's another movement there for IG that is not crowned by success. Not least because of the Eon Disc, one would think. Let's get rid of the track immediately. No extra movement speed. But I guess that's what you want to do, right? That's what they need to do. I mean, we've talked about it before. It's all coming down to the initiation. If you find a good chronosphere, if you actually blow somebody up, one of these important heroes, be it a DP or a Tidehunter or a Chaos Knight, I think either one of those will do. Then you can start snowballing into the rest of the team fight and win that. Yeah, but on the flip side, if you are the one who's being ravaged and then being deleted by CK, I guess it works the other way around as well. Especially if it is the Faceless Void who gets dropped.
DK Nullifier queued up. But his ultimate now on cooldown for a little while. 20 seconds until it's back up. EHOME all grouping around this mid lane. They don't want to get caught by another IG smoke or a bounty hunter scouting them out. In fact, do we have a gem yet on EHOME? I don't believe we do. There's one on Shadow Demon. Yeah, there is actually. So Y will be able to see the bounty if Bobacar gets too close. Again, IG, one lane pushing in, mid lane has been shoved towards this open set of racks of the Radiant side. They need to get some kind of wave cut going so they can actually shove in onto tier 3 mid or bottom lane. You know, the mid tier 3 half HP from that push a good 15 minutes ago or so. Not touched since.
Still force a direction bottom here, the creeps coming in. DK a little bit too scared to go in too far. At least not until he has the safety of his teammates and particularly Shadow Demon, defensive disruptions and whatnot. Is that coming his way? So the game slowed down quite a bit. Both teams just jockeying for position here. And perhaps looking towards his next set of items. DK's only got the that heart and going for the AC to try and counteract the one from the DK. Talking about him getting Nullifier. Skadi next on the list for Gyrocopter.
The anti-carry item against the CK. That's Skadi. Nullifier, very good against the Death Prophet as well, who is heavily reliant on her items. Yule's BKB and Shivers all required to keep her alive. EHOME hold the ramp as IG across the river doing the exact same thing. Throwing out a scan here and even these little illusions to move forward and scout anyone out, but nothing doing. IG decide it's time to just pile down mid lane a little bit. 5 heroes grouping up, moving up onto the ramp, up through the dire jungle, holding this position, but waves are being pushed out by EHOME here. Something that IG do need to focus on a little more, it feels like, is keeping this equilibrium across the river and into the dire side of the map.
Well, Nullify is now complete. This is the point where we can also start thinking about next Roshan, right? It's a minute until it may respawn. Right now it is IG with the better vision in this area. That is one observer ward up on the high ground. They're also hanging around in this area. Still gonna take a while, but who knows? Maybe they get lucky.
Both teams trying to play around their own vision, but yeah, the Radiant definitely better vision in a better area around the Roshan pit. But one thing that they don't know is coming is this BKB from Faith Bian. Just finished off. That could be a defining item here for the Dire. If he's gonna get a Chrono in, tell his DK to hit the targets inside the Chrono would be a good little plan as well. Try and kill the Death Prophet or the Chaos Knight before they use Phantasm. But here comes IG. Smoke up yet again. Roshan, 5 seconds until fast spawn now. They're looking for a fight.
Leave some Tomes of Knowledge towards a DK. HYM is picking those up from the shop for him and now is now almost at 25. There we go. That is Chronosphere coming in on 2. Meanwhile, Chaos Knight here muted with a Nullifier. Can go in immediately, but the BKB yield stepped on Death Prophet still coming through with the accesses and the Ravage is there, but the BKB is still lasting long enough for all of these core heroes. They're trying to focus on the Death Prophet and finally they bring down a big damage dealer in the middle of these fights, that fight now and still need to deal with CK and all of his friends. Will claim the Dragon Knight's life.
Never underestimate Chaos Knight. Heart armored BKB pops his Phantasm, gets an extra illusion, and he absolutely annihilates the Dragon Knight. Faith Bian and Old Chicken will escape with their lives for now. So a pretty even fight, all things considered. You know, ulti's thrown, BKB's used, a couple of heroes dead, but with Cheese on this Chaos Knight still and Roshan respawning in about 45 seconds, this could be the moment for IG to really put the nail in the coffin. Getting that next Roshan could be game-ending.
Especially with the Chronosphere on cooldown, no Ags or anything. It will come back just after Roshan has respawned, about 15 seconds or so. But not sure if that's actually going to be enough time without a DP here. Or without the Phantom Illusions helping out.
I'll take your tribute.
Could be a tight window. If they even go for it in the first place. But yeah, I mean, EHOME being taken back a notch here at the end of the day. Still a very even game. Right?
We need that perfect chrono. Catch the CK and the Tide. I don't think DP really matters all that much. Bursting her down is nice, but CK really is that big threat. Gyro and DK don't really have the tools to deal with the Chaos Knight if he's allowed to Phantasm and rip apart their backlines. Shadow Demon even has a Blink Dagger to try and remedy this problem. Save someone with that disruption, but has often been using it aggressively.
Just get your own CK illusions. That would be helpful.
I'll take that.
As Roshan now alive, we're looking at Aeon Disc being built by the Death Prophet as well. Another huge item pickup when it comes, and there it is. So she'll be able to survive through, potentially, the DK Burst, Dragon Tail, stun from the Sand King as well as they spot out Roshan in the pit. Shadow Blade from Void. Faith Beyond wants to go in. Being patient for now.
Does the Strong Dispel actually also get rid of the Nullifier effect? Do you know?
I believe so.
Dire are scanning.
I don't see why not.
Let's see, Smoke and Smoke action here. The Ravage hits on absolutely everybody! The tracks coming through, Phantom Illusion, nice little defensive disruption here. BKBs come out from both sides. DK still fighting So's NPC, and now there's the Chronosphere, only catching that problem really. CK Illusion still working away. Gyrocopter is down in the epicenter, trying to turn us around, but she's being eaten. Chaos Knight, all they can try and do is keep him kited, but it's not going to be enough. EHOME dropping 3, and make that 4 in a moment full. HYM, he's tracked up. His Aeon Disc will trigger. Getting rid of that for a couple of seconds, but immediately reapplied. Add another one to tally. The only survivor is the Faceless Void. Faith Beyond.
Absolute disaster.
Yeah, it's exactly the kind of team fight that we were talking about. The Blink Ravage absolutely hits everything. Perfect setup for the CK to go on whoever he wants.
Chaos Knight just untouched until the very end where he had to pop the cheese. Death Prophet, Aeon Disc there, just allowed it to keep running forward while the Dire team lacking damage. Did they even get the BKB off on DK? Who knows and who cares? Wasn't able to survive through any of the damage from the Radiant team.
It's too low duration at this point. Just comparatively, like they have damage, but it's mostly damage over time, just very slow right clicks from DK. Gyrocopter can also only do so much with this kind of itemization. He's a spread damage carrier. Like, he does a lot, but it does it to multiple targets, which is useful against the CK, but it's not useful if you really need to kill the actual hero. What is
Goodbye, Faith Beyond.
Okay, the
BKB and Shadow Blade, yeah, running away from all the sentries here. In comes Q, the Yule's there, and the Ice Path to follow. This will be a dead Void, so all things considered, it's a full team wipe, just a little bit delayed as IG finally bring down the Void. And look at that, Jakiro with a Hex. Farmed as hell, thanks to this Bounty Hunter track flowing through this Radiant team, giving so much money, fight after fight. Allowing even the lowliest of supports to get some money.
It's certainly falling apart for EHOME now. That gold graph now back to where it was before at the highest point. Now it's breaking towards the 7k, so even more than that. And IG, they certainly have the momentum here. They have another Ravage available, and double Ravage even with the refresher shot.
Huge.
Aegis on a CK, she's held on to by Death Prophet, and that's the point where you gotta wonder, hey, how do you kill any of these two heroes? Any of these two big damage dealers?
And this is the late game Chaos Knight coming to fruition. We'll walk up high ground, armlet on, Phantasm being held for just a little bit because they'll use the Exorcism for now to move forward onto the tier 3. Are the illusions coming out from the Chaos Knight, but it's so hard to find an opening to actually initiate into this Radiant team. You need your Void. They're waiting for Faith Beyond to respawn, but their racks have already gone. They'll have to wait another day.
Basically, you need to find a chrono on healing the CK. Also need to play around the Ravages somehow. That's perfect timing with BKBs. You need to just pump in all the damage that you have
Dire's bottom
to actually get the kill during the Chronosphere, but it's going to get harder and harder because there is this counterplay potential always available from not just the Titan Hunter, but even the Jakiro just constantly throwing spells in, being extremely annoying, even inside the Chronosphere. Bounty Hunter giving that vision, and okay, this is helpful.
Still dead. Has buyback, so that just feels like a pick-off for pick-off's sake. Now you've kind of maybe not wasted Dragon Form and Chrono, but they've been put on cooldown, and now you feel like...
You can't fight it without that, can you?
Yeah, what do you do from here? It's not like a platform you can jump off and say, cool, we're going to take a tier 2 or a tier 3 or Roshan. They do slow down IG, though, which is probably the most important thing. DP dead for 80, not going to spend her buyback. So it will actually allow for the reset here of the Dire team, unless IG go on the offensive. Blink forward from the Shadow Demon into the double damage room. Slows down the bounty with a disruption, but the chase forward from Tide will secure a kill onto Y.
Well, at the very least, he didn't get the DD over to DK. Not the craziest hero to have that on. I mean, sure, he's sitting for like 222 base damage. Doubling that is crazy, but he already has like quad or penta damage with those illusions anyway.
Dire's top shrine.
Doesn't really, comparatively, doesn't do a lot. It's IG's turn now to take over the map. They need to actually take care of top lane. It's being slightly pushed in.
It's kind of cool that you never see Eon Disc, and now we're seeing 2 in a game.
Alright. It's been kind of helpful, but you gotta wonder if one of these other items that you were mentioning wouldn't have been more useful.
Oh, I don't think so.
Sinking tracked up again in a second. Still holding on to the gem on the Bounty Hunter, so he knows exactly what's happening, but he's calling for reinforcements that came a little bit too late.
No committal there from IG. CK now with AC, close to 3,000 gold saved up. Aegis will expire soon, so can switch the Echo Saber back into his inventory. But mid-tier 3 already being half HP is a nice little opening there for IG to go and play the smoke game again, run down the lane, look for a pick-off, a fight, anything, and convert that into a bigger objective. So they do have the double Hex now, I believe. Hex on Bounty and Jakiro. Eon Disc not going to save you from those. Undispellable.
Yep. EHOME, very interesting position here actually. Not sitting on their own high ground, but sitting around the shrine here instead. Just looking to backstab in case IG make a play. Now they haven't revealed themselves just yet. Probably about to smoke expires.
Yeah, Bobaka's sort of edging around trying to see where the smoke popped, but it does expire eventually. EHOME playing a dangerous game here outside their base. IG may be not expecting this as DP shows to the creep wave. Spooky. Very, very spooky.
A lot of patience coming out here from EHOME. Still not showing themselves. It is nighttime. Oh, no, never mind. It's daytime. But still, the vision not lasting, not reaching far enough from the creep wave here. So finally, I pull the plug on this attempt and say, yeah, it's a little bit too crazy to hang around here for much longer. Just set up on our own high ground. Try to defend here. There it is. Exorcism straight up being popped. Can be very safe here with Eon Disc. You have that free get out of jail free card essentially. can do some free damage, even with the Phantasm committed. Just suddenly illusions up. Getting rid of the tower, getting rid of the melee barracks, now forcing EHOME to do something. Threatening the Chronosphere, but not pulling the trigger just yet. Oh, there it is now. And catching Titans in the back, hexed up. He's very quick pick, but not a whole lot he can do here. Now with BKB from Death Prophet turning things around. Exorcism about to expire.
Dragon Knight.
Probably call it quits here, right?
Yeah, DK was very close to going down there if that Reality Rift had connected. Turn from EHOME though, great silence onto the Sanking, there's no Burrow Strike, the BKB into the Ravage from Tide. The double in fact, as they catch the entirety of EHOME. Sanking has to retreat, the Gyro is falling back as quickly as he can, but he's hexed up by Q. The Jakiro comes in, he's gonna get the Ice Path in, and it looks like they'll land here as the Piggy is stuck, the lag will hit. I think EHOME are done though. IG sweep through this fight. The Gyro, he's turning, I don't know what he's doing, but he's gonna get a kill, he's doing something for me. No, I don't know what the hell's happening, it's just a huge amount of lag. EHOME though, we hear the slaps of the Tide, bring down the middle racks, melee will fall, followed by ranged, and buybacks available, but with no spells off cooldown, I don't think they're going to be able to do too much.
It's a great imagination there, but this time it's both of us who just stopped. It was too much here for the game, and can't even reconnect. So I guess it's over?
I think GG has been called.
Must have been, right? What a way to end it, but yeah, I guess we can all imagine how that went. We have no other choice but to at this point.
Yeah, I guess the game has just ended then. Cool. Well,
Yeah.
IG take game one in this best of 3. EHOME tap out as they lose their second lane of racks, I believe. Yeah, cool, I guess.
Perfect world. So ironic. Oh, God.
I'm going to open the Chinese stream and see what happens. Now, the next lobby's up, so game 1 goes the way of IG, 99% sure of that. We'll see you guys in a little bit. Short break before game 2 coming your way in a few minutes.